everybody. Welcome back to the Everything and Nothing podcast, where we talk about everything and nothing at the same time. I am here with my beautiful sisters. So good to be back together again.
Thank you for coming home to Detroit. Thank you.
Welcome back. Y'all can keep this cold weather, okay?
I know, it's so cold.
Honey, it's so cold in the ding. Yes. So I'm Myra. We got Stephanie. We got Leah. If you're new to this podcast, thank you for joining us. And be sure to follow us on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all our Instagram. So we're happy that you're here. So since the holidays are upon us, we just survived Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
All of our
Like
food.
a breeze.
Listen,
Like a breeze.
It was good to be with our family. Stephanie made her infamous seafood pasta.
Somebody asked me the other day and was like,
Pasta,
I mean, what in the world? I don't
cheese.
know. That sounds interesting. I was like, it's just like lobster,
delicious.
macaroni and cheese at any steakhouse.
Yeah, but
instead, we did lump crab. We had crab claws and shrimp.
It was
amazing. It's like a pasta salad. It reminds me of a pasta. But it's seafood, macaroni and cheese.
I would call you a hater right now.
That's what she doing.
I am.
That's what she
I'm
doing.
because I can't make it. It was delicious.
I might show you one day.
Oh, okay. So I thought it would be cool because we're not done with the holidays, right? We had Christmas and New Year's and my birthday. It's like national holiday. And so let's talk about like some traditions. And I know holidays can be tricky. Everybody's family. I think we've been very blessed and fortunate to have a very close-knit family. And this year we were able to celebrate it with like both sides of our family.
Yeah, that was
come
fun.
together. Thank you to our gracious host.
Yes,
for allowing us to
namaste.
come over. So I'm just so grateful that we mesh and our family enjoys one another. But I know that's not everybody's story. And sometimes holidays can be hard. We experience grief. This was our first holiday without our grandfather, you know. And so life is, granddad. So life is a little bit different and everybody doesn't look forward to the holidays. So I'm very privileged. So I did want to kind of talk about that, but also share maybe some of our traditions that we do.
So the tradition is that you don't spend the holiday alone. The tradition is like we're going to gather, and the fun part is figuring out where we're going to gather, who's going to host it. But the tradition number one is you don't do it alone.
Yeah.
You don't do it alone.
I would like to create something that we do name as maybe our family tradition or things like that. I know for my house, once the fall starts, it's, we do the apple orchard, or we do my famous soup that my husband just craves. So I would like to do some of those. This year, what we did not do, we didn't go around and say what we were thankful for. But we had, I think it was like 27 of us in the house at one time.
Crowd.
So it was
more than that.
Yeah,
I don't
we had
know.
people that came in and came out.
Probably that. So when we did prayer, that was one. I think that we should incorporate some family traditions though, like to be able to say, well, every year we do this, or we do a gingerbread house, or we play this game.
Oh,
that's kind of
cool.
fun.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be nice?
Add that. But we do have a tradition that you all have decided to stop. And I am so upset about it. I'm glad that we finally get a chance to tell y'all to y'all face.
What's that?
We always do the family photo.
Okay.
It's always the day after Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving. And I am really tripping because no matter what, we've always tried to figure out how to do it, but it's always Thanksgiving because everybody's home. And I cannot believe that somebody or somebodies have decided, and then y'all are so adamant about not doing it. Like,
no, I think it was this year because it's, again, like Leah said, it's like 30 of us. So like doing it at the last
we've
minute,
overcome all of those challenges.
because your household is a household of two. And one of which is grown and gone. So for you to pick an outfit and say, we doing this, you got time to change your wigs, you got time to curl and wash your wigs, you got time to go in your closet and try on your clothes.
All of those, it sounds like a whole lot of excuses.
Well,
we've
what
had
I
bigger
hear,
obstacles to overcome.
What I
before.
hear is that next year,
the
day after Thanksgiving, we're doing family photos, and that should be our tradition here on out. we all
We're
gonna
gonna have
know
to
that
just
every
go
family
in on
needs
it.
to put in
Yeah.
like 100.
So if it's a thing, I'm saying if it's a thing, make it a thing, and we just need to know,
Right.
Like
We're
It's
doing
a
it now.
thing, and we doing it now because I'm sick of this. Like
Oh,
I can't believe
Jesus.
we have been doing
this is going nowhere according to plan. We're all up.
We have been doing this for a long time.
We have.
Dad started this with Mom as a tradition for our church, the family photo. And I don't
can't
know,
argue with
along
you.
the way, at first, we were going to stop when Dad died. Okay?
Yeah, because we were sad
We were
stuff.
sad, but instead of being sad and not doing it, we still did it in his honor.
We did.
Okay.
Then it was like, okay, now that Stephen is the pastor,
Yeah.
oh well, we're not going to do it anymore because now we're not the first family, which I was absolutely outraged.
Is Ivana Fix
How
My
of a
Life
sudden I
available?
am not a
Somebody
part
get her on speed dial. Jesus.
Is
Is
y'all ask.
What's her name? Ayana.
ask.
Somebody call her.
Okay, so then after
digress.
Stephen did one with his family, then everybody did their own individuals.
Yeah.
Okay, that was cute. And then we came back and we
Yeah.
said we was gonna do it
Stephanie,
together.
I'm sorry.
I mean, God.
So that's our
Steph,
family
I'm sorry.
tradition,
Is there a
and you guys
photographer
are just
available
not
right now?
It is
Y'all
not
don't
too
wanna
late.
play.
It is not too late.
It's
we
okay.
did, but let's talk about the communication strategy, and we're gonna go back on the topic because I feel as if nobody knew about this but you. So I feel like the party.
No, we all knew.
I knew
No,
nothing of it.
in everybody's defense, it's just like that list for Thanksgiving dinner.
That I was not included on.
You did not know. So this is one you
hope
did.
the camera is
You
focused
did
on me and
say
my face.
that you wanted to do it, but you did not. You did not inform everybody to make sure everybody was free because it was like the Bennett's. They have a photo shoot going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Last weekend we did ours.
All I'm saying is this sound like a whole lot of excuses. It don't sound like nobody's trying to come together and make this happen.
You're right,
But
though.
I digress because
Yeah.
it's the day after, and so it's nothing I can do about it now. So
Yeah.
it
We
is what
can't
it
do
is.
the photo
But
shoot.
family
No.
tradition, that was a family tradition, but now nobody wants to hold up the family
I did a bang
tradition.
up job on this topic. So
Yeah, but with that being said, we do know that next year we are going to do the family photos
Okay.
the day after Thanksgiving.
It's a lot,
And
of
I
us,
got
but
you.
Everybody deserves to be acknowledged.
Everybody,
Thank
yes.
you. Your feelings are valid. You are safe here.
Yes.
Thank you for
your
your vote.
me out.
Thank
It's
you
not
for
going to
your-
change anything.
Thank
but
you
I
for
get
your
it.
vulnerability and your optimism.
Yes.
Now back to let's move past traditions because clearly we need to work on them.
But traditions are fun, and
them.
I
Traditions
guess
are
my question is, does the tradition start because somebody says that we have to do this, or is it something that is birthed out of what's fun, what comes easy to
Both.
the family?
I think it's whatever the family like experiences, and we get a lot of our traditions just from our upbringing. And some people's traditions, if they don't have a big family, their tradition is,
It's
they
something that you do
kinda
over and
by
over
themselves.
again.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
some families that are big like ours, and they get together, but they get together at individual houses, so you have the house hop. We didn't grow up in house hop. It was too many of us. And, we ain't spending all that gas, and I'm tired, and I'm ripping and running, and I got to go to the east side, to the west side, between sides. I'm not house hopping. So we have normally just come together at one house, and we're going to eat together.
We do
one
it together,
tradition.
which I want to say thank you all for keeping that tradition.
Yeah, I think, oh my God. One thing I think, because our family is so big, and let me tell you something, we're off tradition. Scratch it. On the grief. No, we're just going to go right in, because now I'm 11 minutes into being done with the episode. All right, going right into grief. How do you feel? Do you cry? Do you laugh? Are you on pills? Like, let's just go right there.
Oh wow! Well,
Jeez.
I mean, we got to get off our traditions because it's not going.
well, I know the holidays bring about a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We have a new member of our family, and Thanksgiving is very hard for him. And I was very happy that we were able to surround him and just be there and love on him and everything.
Yeah.
And it seemed, I would like to think it just made it easier. And I heard my cousin telling him that people say it gets better and that, things are changing. Because everybody's situation is different, and in theirs, they lost their parents, and then some people, they lose a child, and so it's a big debate about which grief is greater than the others, which sin is greater than the other, and I kind of don't like dealing with that because a loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Even if it's a loss and I even want to say that grief comes about not even just in death, but a death of a relationship. Yeah. So a divorce or changing. And so the holidays are very hard because you have this expectation of so much happiness and so much joy and so much family and gathering. So it does play for everybody different, but I seen another post that a lady said usually she's alone for the holidays, but she chose to be around loved ones. And so I guess that's how I deal with the holiday grief that comes upon me, that I've learned to deal with, and that will never go away.
Some things won't go away.
Yeah, that
you learn how to live with the grief.
You learn to live with it, and so in that. Having my grandmother over for the holiday was just, I could have went over in a corner and just bawled. Stephanie looked at me and was like, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm just so happy." Because that it was like
the matriarch of our family being there, it meant something. And then for them to be able to come and sit and relax, they were proud to see us continuing. Here's the tradition, this tradition of us making the meal, and the family don't have to put in Cash App and do all that kind of thing. They get to come over to a loving environment where nobody's beefed out, it's no strife, but they were proud, and so it did mean a lot to have Granny.
And I think it's good because I got in trouble because I had to make the dressing, and everybody know Mama make the dressing, and I got cornered a couple of times, like, whose idea was it for Mama to make green Jell-O and not the dressing? And I said, well, I think we of an age where we should be able to carry on that. Like, I was like, I got Mama recipe. Like, this is
and
not
you
a game.
Did so thank you.
And it's a lot of pressure because I'm like, Mama dressing. And Mama looked at me and she was like, the dressing was excellent. And I walked away.
The elders have approved.
The elders have approved. But again, that does go back to the tradition because it's like at some point we want them to sit and see, and the fruits of their labor. Come and enjoy. Y'all don't have to bring nothing. Now the sweet potato pie, we can't figure that one out yet. Stephanie like to put brandy and cognac and I
tried it once. I'm never doing it again.
Okay, so she can't do it. So Mama is stuck with certain things. But I think like that's a cool part. And like you said with grief, I kind of deal with it as every day. I don't look at one particular day different than another. For me, it's 365 days in a year. I have to learn how to live without my father, my grandfather, or whatever, 365 days.
And Uncle Keith.
Yeah, Uncle Keith and all of,
so it was a lot.
So it's every day that I have to choose. So on his birthday or on the day that he passed or gained his wings or whatever, that day doesn't bring me more grief than another because in my mind, when I wake up tomorrow and it's not his birthday, he's still not here. So how do I do that? Good. So every day I teach myself, or every day I have to push through or find joy. And my dad was so full of energy in life, and I think I do get a lot of my personality, like from him. And so I choose to do it as, what would he have wanted? If he was here, what would he want? He used to laugh and joke and be like, we got more than one meat. We got meats. We got 3 meats. Like you was doing something, So me and Leah planning the menu. It's like, oh, we only had 2 meats. It was like, we need more, because that's what Daddy would have wanted. Oh, y'all got homemade ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we made homemade ice cream. So to me, those are the different things that like help me feel better. Is I know that if he was here, this is what I would be doing. Because if I was in a corner somewhere crying, that ain't how my dad lived his life. Exactly. Or that's not how my uncle or grandfather would have wanted it. They value family. They love to see you smile. My dad loved to cook and then sit there and watch you do it and be like, and his favorite holiday was Thanksgiving. And he wanna watch you eat your food. Don't you hate when somebody makes something they want to watch you eat it?
That was me all day.
All day. Let me tell you. I was eating my rib and she was just looking like, what you do? But I say, baby, you have smoked the mess out of that rib. But for me, I found that with grief was, I'm sorry, I just wanted to just throw that in. It's the holidays just kind of amplify the grief for me.
Yeah.
Because that's the time where I'm sitting still. Like the whole year, your schedule or your calendar, right, is booked. Da 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 da, and the holidays are like, okay, sit down. You get the chance to go sit down over here with your parents. You get to sit down with your family, and it's just you and your feelings and the emotion and the smells. Like nobody ever talks about the smells that trigger the grief, because it's like, oh my god, that's a cologne that dad will wear, or oh my god, if granddad was here, he would be probably singing this song right now. Auntie Sandy would have came over. You know what I'm saying? And so those types of things trigger it, and you can't run, you can't go turn on your computer.
What I want to talk about.
Yeah, you can't go turn on your computer and be like, just like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. No, you have to deal with that emotion.
With it. Yes, you have to sit in that seat, and you have to learn how you're gonna express or how you're gonna process. Like you have to process the process of grief, right? You have to take yourself through the crying, through the anger, through the disappointment. You do, because you'll find yourself being stuck.
Yeah. Because it's
not
gonna
dealing with it.
It's going to happen. Your body is going to respond at some point, and it will show up in some point. And sometimes that's the root of some sickness and disease or depression and anxiety. And we deal with those things. But I wish, and especially in our culture, that we talked about it more, but we also sought out help.
Yeah.
Like therapy is okay. We can pray, we can cry, but we still live in this world. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take anything away from your Holy Ghost and your shaman, your power. If you go and you sit down and you lay on somebody's couch.
Well, you talked about pills. You mentioned it. Yeah, but I'm not on any pills, but I do a melatonin. I'm good for a good melatonin. Just to put myself to sleep.
And then sometimes you need a little St. John wort if y'all scared to get a pill to help with your mood. And that's some of your problem, why your family members don't want to deal with you, because you got a poor attitude. Okay? But I think more people do need to seek out help. And sometimes medicine is the way. Sometimes our bodies are chemically imbalanced. Sometimes we have been hit with loss after loss. And that's one thing that in our lifetime we really haven't had to deal with. We've been very blessed to maybe, lose a grandfather when I was in the 3rd grade when Grandpa Sam died. Then the next time I had to sit on the front row was my father at 33. That's a long gap. And so now it was like, dang, we lost an auntie, we lost an uncle. Now we lost, a grandfather. And it's like, we've never experienced loss after loss. But that's not some people's testimony. Some people have been through that all their life.
And then for people to sit around the couch, like, the holiday time, everybody like, oh, look at your car, sad nephew, oh, that's car. Oh, yeah, look at your ring. Oh, you see my ring. You see what you did from me. So sometimes the holidays, you sit around and talk about all the accomplishments, especially now. This is the end of the year. Yeah. And then what happens when you sit there and you feel like, I'm a failure. I'm blowing it. I'm missing it. And, you're the type of person who says, I'm really struggling mentally, and so there's a different kind of grief, the grief of really feeling like I don't have it all together, and I kind of want to shrink, I want to hide, I want to run away.
And some people's families are not as generous, and because they'll throw that up in your face, or they'll always ask you like, dang, you still single? Dang.
So, but how would you talk to me if I'm that cousin that's sitting there, or if I'm your auntie, or I'm your sister, and you like, hey, what's going on? Like, how would you talk?
You have to learn how to tell people to be okay with where they are, but look at where are you trying to go and what are you willing to do to get to that point. Is we all have places or feel like we are inadequate in certain areas, but once I recognize that, that's number one, right? I recognize it, but what am I going to do to change it? Because some people will just talk to you in circles.
Yeah, because I was about to say, well, it still sounds like that's action. Like
you still have to do some action to get out of that. Even with grief, you have to want to feel better. Not saying that, because the fact of the matter is that person is not coming back. And if I believe, and this is just, if I believe that God has a plan for me in my life, he knew at some point I was going to have to live without my father. If I was not meant to live without my father, I would have died when my dad did. So why is my life going to end when his life ended? And so many people's lives had ended when
no doubt.
those relationships
I felt like
of
that.
those people.
When I say I felt
passed.
like that so tough because me, mom, and dad, like we were.
Yeah.
I used to call us like the Trinity. My life was wrapped up in their schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm a grown woman, just like, I can't go out of town or I can't go on a date unless I get it cleared through mom and dad. They're gonna be checking for me and stuff like that. So so when he passed, I absolutely felt
like your life was over. I mean, because you have to learn to live again. I mean, and I believe that to be true for mom, for granny, even in a breakup, you have to learn to live without that person there. But we also have to take away, what did I have when they were here? What did they instill in me? What would they want to have me be, and how do I continue to carry that on?
Yeah, sometimes it's like the last point of contact, though, that grief. It was that last time that you saw them. It was that last true connection. And so, oftentimes we say you got to learn how to move out of that, but you just have to learn to accept what is.
Accept it.
And then, because notice that I don't care what y'all say. Y'all call me crazy if y'all want to, but I still visit my father. I'll go take a sandwich down there and I'll go sit because that's how I'm processing it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll look at my son and I'll be like, oh, did you love how, and I'll have a quick conversation and I'll move past it. And so that's my processing. And I encourage people to learn their process on how they're dealing with it. Some might say, oh, that's when I started working out. Or some say, well, that's when I knew I needed to go back to school because my mom always wanted me to do this. Yeah. Or we always talked about opening up this restaurant, so I did it in honor of.
It's a term for that. And Myra's gonna have to find it for you. It is a term for that, and it's actually like the law of replacement, technically. So when you do lose something or someone, and you're grieving that, then you replace it with something. That's why a lot of people still carry on the tradition.
But Leah, to your point, some people feel like that they are forgetting when they let go of that grief.
Most definitely.
And so it's like I have to hold on to this pain because if I do, then I don't want to seem like, oh, now I'm happy my husband is gone. And I think we dealt with that when mom was getting ready to get remarried.
That's
it's
the
like,
guilt.
how dare y'all, be happy and accept this. It's the truth of Stephen is not coming back. And if he had a choice, he probably wouldn't now that he's experienced something else. So why would you hold somebody else accountable because they need to, or they're choosing to move on, but you can choose to get divorced and you can get husband number 2. But that person what she told us. Stuck. Yeah.
That's what mama said. She said, well, I didn't like every boyfriend y'all brought here to this house and I had to accept them.
Yeah, and so now we pushing that off on them because we're sad and we feel like, if mama get married and she didn't replace daddy. No. And that man not coming in just like a stepfather or blended families. I'm not coming in to replace your
maybe some, but not ours.
Maybe that's
not our testimony.
That's not our testimony. Yeah. So it's I think it still goes back down to perception, but I think the biggest thing I would love for people is to address it, and so many people now, have lost people, and I know people after dad passed was like, it never gets better. You'll never get over it. The devil is, you're not gonna tell me that I'm always gonna be stuck. You know what I mean? Or
I think they mean well, and I think where it comes from is they are correct in a sense that I have not gotten over the fact that my father has transitioned. There are still moments where I do know of other preachers, other pastors, other people's fathers that have been healed or are still here on earth, and I still deal with anger there. This year I've realized that I still hold a bit of anger there. There are some people that I can't even watch them preach because I'm full of anger because I feel like, God, right there, you disappointed me. You didn't answer my prayer because you healed them and you didn't heal my dad, right? And so I know that goes into a different topic and conversation because I don't know what my father's agreement was with the father, right? And I don't know. And so Pastor always teaches us that it's okay to ask questions, but you might not get answers back from them all. And so in that's
the sovereignty of God.
Come on.
That's the side of God that we don't have access to. He is who he is, and he does what he does, and that's the sovereignty of God. That's why he gave us the grace to live through those moments where we don't have the answer.
And so when they're trying to tell you that, I believe that they really want to give you compassion. I think they really want to help you
but
out.
It's rooted in ignorance, though.
And
but
that's
I
really,
think sometimes it's rooted in because they haven't gotten over it. Ooh. So they're projecting on me how they feel when they lost their mother, and you lost your mother when you was 10, and now you 70. So that's 60 years of grief and anger that you may not have dealt with, chosen to deal with, or maybe you have, and it still just hurts you a little bit different, you know. So you're projecting on me on how I should feel based upon your experience. So sometimes in those moments during grief, the best thing to do is just not say nothing. Just say, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. I'm here. Not, always, I've been in them shoes. I know how you feel. No, you don't, because you're not me. However, just
feisty,
ready to fight. Don't. Because everybody is so quick to share their story, or their pain, or, because we're trying to comfort. So
that's
I think
what I'm
genuinely
saying.
It comes from a place, but we gotta watch it because sometimes, and even myself, we're just quick to talk about experiences based upon our experiences first. And sometimes the best thing just to say is, you're in my thoughts and prayers. Let me know if you need anything. Yeah. And then we just let other conversations kind of.
So during these seasons, I think ultimately we come to realize that we should just reach out to people. Hey, we doing something, or it's a free weekend. I know you don't have to say, I know you probably, have a loss, but just be more conscious, be mindful, inviting, because love and the presence is really a gift. It's healing. It's healing to be able to watch a movie or go to the mall and get a Cinnabon.
Yeah. After we leave.
That sounds good, Yes. Let's do that.
Yes. Oh, Stephanie always want to hold hands. Thank y'all for listening and getting through our family therapy session. As you see, we're going to be signing up. If anybody know Ayana, send her a video and tell her we need her. But this has been good. Thank you.
This has been good.
Yes, this has been good. Thank you, guys.
Subscribe, please.